Hello, I'm Martin McConnell, the Public Information Officer for Ascension Parish Government, and I'm here in our studios today because we have a very important announcement and a lot of very important information. If you are a homeowner or a property owner or perhaps even a renter, if you live in Ascension Parish, especially in the Bayou Conway watershed, you may see some changes, both positive and or negative, coming your way because the flood maps may be changing and they may affect you, and we want to make sure that you know about it as early as possible. So joining me in our studio today, we have Ms. Marcy Shivers, CFM. She is a certified floodplain manager, and she is the floodplain coordinator for Ascension Parish. Welcome. Thank you, Marcy, for being here. And also we have Lance Brock. Lance is the Assistant Director of our Planning and Development Office, and he serves as the zoning official for Ascension Parish government. So let's tell everybody as best we can what's going on here. I mean, the flood maps are changing. So how did this come about, Marcia? What prompted all of this? Is this a result of the 2016 flood? Where are we here?
Well, no, it's not a result of the 2016 flood. When FEMA originally did the maps back August 16, 2007, no study had been done in the New River Bayou Conway watershed. So what happened was we got a consultant to come out and do a hydraulic study, look at that basin, and see the intake of water. And with the results from that study, it showed that some areas could be taken out of the flood zone and some would be put in the flood zone based on water surface elevations.
And the paperwork that I have seen shows that the positive effect is much better than the negative effect. We've identified about how many properties are currently considered in a flood zone who will be moving into the non-flood zone.
Currently, we're talking about maybe 2,000 residents.
Yeah.
Of those 2,000 residents, you're talking about 1,300, being taken out of the flood zone.
Right.
Altogether, you're talking about 300 being placed in a flood zone. And then you have some areas that, we still have structures that something may not be on those properties. So we're still looking into those vacant areas to see what's on those lots that's going to be in the flood zone, out of the flood zone, or has an established base flood elevation in those areas.
Right. I'm sorry, because those based on addresses, we're not sure if there's actually structures on those or not.
So the study just gave us addresses.
Well, we pulled those from the addresses from our GIS system, or our GIS information, and based on that, we did send them to the addresses. So there's a possibility that there's an address associated with it, and it may have just been a water well, or it may have been a shed, it may have been something like that. So we're not sure if it's actual a home or living quarters, or if it's just a structure or a shed or a water well, I guess you could say.
Okay, so we are constantly working
Yes.
on all of that. Also, I think there were owners of multiple properties. So just because there were 300 and
Right.
something properties, that didn't mean there were 300 and something property owners.
That's
That's
correct.
correct, because there was they may have, like you stated, it could have been same owners with different parcels or different properties, yes.
So I guess what the people are going to want to know, those people who are currently listed in a flood zone, those residences, those homes that are currently listed in the flood zone, when this goes into effect, they will be moved from the, say, AE designation into the X. Now, so let's talk about those flood designations for a moment. An X zone means you are
Protected by the levee, so you're going to have minimal flooding in those areas.
minimal potential for flooding.
That's correct.
But then we have the AE and the E.
We have the
Educate me here,
We have the
Marcy.
A flood zone, AE, AH, AO, here in Ascension Parish, and those are the areas that have the 1% chance of flooding in an annual year.
Is that what we call the 100-year flood?
The 100-year
Yes.
flood, yes, the special flood
I
hazard
think
areas.
more people are probably familiar with the
Right.
term,
Yes.
the 100-year floodplain.
Yes.
And that doesn't mean that you're going to flood every 100 years. That means that there's percentage-wise, there's a 1%
There's a
chance
1% chance.
that you could get water at whatever level that the base flood is or what's established.
So the chances are those people have flood insurance on their homes, on their properties right now.
The ones that are in
those
the
people
flood
that
zone?
are in the flood zone, and they'll be moving into the X zone, which is better for them.
Yeah,
anyway.
that's correct, moderate zone.
But I guess really we want to talk about those 300 and some odd properties that are currently in an X zone who will be negatively affected.
Correct.
Tell me about it. What's going on?
Well, at this point, we're sending out letters to all property owners that's going to be affected by the LOMA change. And we
And
just,
LOMR is
the letter of map revision.
letter of LOMR. So if we talk about these, if we throw these little terms
that's
out
right,
at you,
yeah.
that's what we're talking
Yeah, we
about.
right,
just
yeah,
get used
that's
to the
what we're used to.
I
acronyms.
know, yeah, we've been, that's all we call it, LOMR. I didn't know what it stood for. Okay.
But what we're doing now is asking those homeowners to come into the office and come in and check their flood zones to see if they are negatively impacted or positive impacted, to see where you are. If you are in a flood zone, at this time, we encourage you to get flood insurance on your property.
Okay, now here's what we really want to get out there. Lance, you were telling me a lot about that. If you're currently in the X zone and you will be moved into the AE, if you'll be negatively impacted,
Right.
you can go ahead and purchase flood insurance today.
At the minimal risk, or at that X, I guess, designation, or that's what you would be paying your premiums on, is on that policy, I guess, at that X rate, I guess you could say. or
But then
minimal
once,
risk.
once you're moved
Once
into
you're moved into
AE,
AE, then at that point, if you don't have flood insurance, you'll be rated at that AE premium, which could be substantial.
could be substantial.
Yes, and if you're remortgaging, or if you're mortgaging, or if you're selling, flood insurance may be required at that point if you don't have flood insurance. I think some policies you can transfer, but that's up to your insurance company and things like that you need to check to see if those are requirements that they can do. But I would suggest to everyone to get flood insurance prior to the maps coming out, or the new maps becoming effective, I guess.
Yes, because from literature that I've read, from pamphlets that are available in our planning and development department, if you purchase flood insurance while you're in the X zone, and then your property is transferred to the AE or the A or any of the other,
Right.
as long as you keep that policy in force, you're grandfathered,
That's
and you
correct.
can keep that preferred rate.
That's correct.
Yes, correct.
So when does this change take effect?
May 15th, 2019.
May 15th. Now look, I've talked to people and I've heard people that said, if you live in South Louisiana, you need flood insurance.
That's correct.
Doesn't matter what zone you live in.
Correct.
That's
If
correct.
you live in South Louisiana, it behooves you to purchase flood insurance
Right.
for your property.
Right.
So we're by no means saying, hey, if you're moving into the X zone, yippee, you can
Right.
cancel that flood.
Correct.
We do not advise that.
No, we do not, because as you know, water is not going to look at a map and stop at that point. So you just want to make sure that if you live in South Louisiana, just what you stated, that I would suggest that you get flood insurance.
You do need, it's very advisable. And certainly you want to do this before May 15th.
That's correct.
While the current zones are in effect.
That's correct.
Okay, we have notified people. I can tell you, I got a copy here. This was a notice that was put in the Weekly Citizen, which is the
Correct.
official journal of Ascension Parish Government. That was run twice in the Weekly Citizen in the month of December 2018. Then beginning in January, we started sending letters
Correct.
to property owners.
That's correct.
So those letters have gone out, and Marcy, tell me.
And we're also working on something on the website.
Yes.
So maybe by the end of the week, the beginning of next week, anyone will be able to go on the maps, check your flood zone, to see if you are in a flood zone, if you're not in a flood zone. And again, if you don't understand the maps, please come to our office, 615 East Worthy Street in Gonzales, or contact us, 225-450-1369, and we can give you that information.
We, our GIS coordinator, I know, has been working diligently
Yes, he
on
has.
this
Yes,
map.
yes.
I have gone to the site, and Lance told me this, and it's true. You got to be a cartographer right now to read that.
Yes,
to read that
and he's
map.
gone through it, and he's actually helped out and shaded some things and made it very user-friendly.
Yes, he has.
We received something kind of today to look at, and I can tell you it looks a lot better than it did when it first came through.
Well, there is already a flood map on the Ascension Parish website. If you go to ascensionparish.net, on the big banners that are running across the top, that it has the link for the maps. Right. Scroll down and you'll see the Ascension Parish flood zone map, the very basic, simple one that's in effect right now by FEMA. This is a separate link that we're going to be putting on there to show all of the changes in that New River Bayou Conway
right.
Flood basin, to show what the changes are.
That's cool.
So that people can know that. But we've put notices in the paper. We have mailed individual letters to these people. Ascension 21 has been running the bulletin regularly on Ascension 21. We're going to put another link on the parish website so that you can actually click on the link and go and find this. Our GIS department, it's an award-winning department, yeah. And they've got beautiful maps there. You can actually zoom in and find your house, and you can see where you are in here. So if you're watching this and you have any questions or concerns or doubt, please share this information with your neighbor. This is going to be running on Ascension 21. We're going to put a link to the Ascension Parish Government YouTube channel. So it's going to be there in perpetuity. You can always please tell your family, your friends, your neighbors that this is going on, because we don't want to catch anyone flat-footed. If you're going to be negatively affected, this is the time to purchase your flood insurance. You'll be grandfathered in as long as you keep that policy in effect. I live in an X flood zone, but you better believe I have flood insurance on my home. No question about that. But we're going to make all of that available. We're going to publish the link on this program. You'll be able to see that. Marcy, again, your telephone number is
225-450-1369.
And people can call you with any kind
Yes.
of question. They can give you their address, and you can tell them whether they are. You can give them their floodplain
Yes.
information.
Call us and we
like
can
that.
give you your flood information. We're here Monday through Thursday from 7:30 to 5 and Friday 7:30 to 11:30. On the website, you can also go to floodplain management and you can send an email requesting that information, and we can email it to you also.
And also, if it's after hours, we do have our customer call center that's open and in effect.
That's
If you
correct.
have questions after hours, you can go online at the Ascension Parish Customer Call Center. The link to that is on the parish website, or you can call 450-1200, right?
That's correct.
Leave a message there. We have people answering the phones during the same hours, Monday through Friday, those same hours that you mentioned a moment ago. But also we have a very good voicemail system.
Mm-hmm.
They get their calls, they return their calls, they enter it into there. So call Marcy Shivers at her office, call the customer call center at 450-1200, go online and look at these maps, and please share this information with your neighbors, with your family, friends, anybody. If you live in Ascension Parish, we want to make sure that the message gets out to you, that it is an opportunity for you to take advantage of as quickly as possible. Certainly you want to do it before May the 15th of 2019, when these new maps go into effect. What do I forget? What are we missing? Is there some additional information that
I think we've covered everything.
Yeah, the only thing I do want to say is that it's only in the southern part, and the water basin that Marcy mentioned earlier is not a parish-wide. So I just want to make sure that just because you look at the map and yours didn't change or whatever, at this point it's just that watershed that Marcy mentioned earlier. So
if you live in the watershed area of New River Bayou, which flows through the city of Gonzales,
Right.
And east of the Marvinboro pumping station, or Bayou Conway flows down by Pelican Point in the southern part of East Ascension Parish, goes out towards Sorrento and Blind River and all down there.
Mhm.
So if you live in that watershed, this message is especially for
Correct.
you, right?
Correct.
yes.
So, Marcy Shivers and Lance Brock, thanks so much for joining us. Thank
Thank
you
you.
for
Thank
you.
you.
for sharing this information, and thank you for joining us. Please, we encourage you to share this information, and we will be back as often as possible when we have information to share with you. Thank you for joining us, for watching your Ascension Parish Government channel.